Hi everyone, my name is Roslyn Asiko Andika. I am a human resource practitioner. I am also a workplace mentor and transformation coach. I also analyze matters around human resource. We bring you our show called Workplace Conversations. Workplace Conversations is a show that brings you matters around the workplace. A lot of us go to work every morning. We wake up at 4, at 5 to go to work only to endure because we need to pay our bills at the end of the month. But at Workplace Conversation, we intend to transform that mentality from enduring to enjoying. You do not need to endure what you do. You only need to change your mindset in order to enjoy what you do. So these conversations are very interesting and are aimed to help you change your mentality about the workplace. You can actually enjoy what you do at the end of the day. The Bible says we perish because of lack of knowledge, and Roslyn is here to bring you the knowledge that you need in order to make the workplace a safe space, a place that you can enjoy, a place that you can actually achieve so much other than just paying your bills. Thank you so much, and I look forward to engaging with you in every conversation. Asanteni sana. Hi everyone, this is Roslyn from Rasiko World with another episode of Workplace Conversation. It's been a minute and we are glad to be back. So today on set, we have a very special guest that I will let her introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is Wendian Watamporo. I am a psychologist, I am a trainer, I am a founder, and also I have written this book, The Intentional Planner, just to help you to live intentionally, So it has a yearly plan, monthly plan, daily plans, and I am happy to be here to speak about this because it is something that is at the core of my heart.
Okay, so May is Mental Awareness Month, and at Workplace Conversation, we have not been left behind. And today on set, we want to discuss about mental health at the workplace. Marianne, I want first of all us to clear the airwaves. There are these words. I don't know if we use them correctly or interchangeably. There is mental health and then there is mental well-being. So is it one and the same? Can we use them interchangeably? Is there a difference? Maybe you can tell us about that.
Okay, so mental health usually refers to the brain health, how our brain is functioning, which also includes how we are thinking, how we are feeling, and how we behave. Whereas mental well-being is a general encompassing to even the way you're socializing with people, the way you're coping with day-to-day stressors, your social networks, workplace, even productivity and all this. So general well-being is what mental well-being is, but the health is more specific. What you haven't mentioned is mental illness, because also people, anytime they hear
if you ask me mental illness, I will think it's a mad person.
But most of the time, you hear, when people just hear mental health, that's what comes to mind.
A mad person.
Like we are talking about someone who is sick. We don't call them mad. They are ill.
Or just ill, mentally ill.
Just the same way you can be physically ill. You can also be mentally ill, where you find some parts of your brain are not functioning well. Maybe in terms of your mood. Like I mentioned, there's thoughts, feelings, behavior. So if either of those have been affected, then now we can say you're ill. But on the other spectrum is now the well-being.
Okay, so I think viewers, you have heard, don't go around calling people mad. They are,
or crazy.
They are mentally ill. And then there's also there's now a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a therapist. Do they do the same thing?
No. I actually usually go by the name Therapist Marianne, so I can plug myself. Follow me in all platforms. And the word therapist is a general term.
Okay.
So it is not as specific as now psychologists, because we have even psychotherapists, physiotherapists, so it is very general. But then the specific psychologists, usually they use more of talk therapy or other means of therapy, whereas the psychiatrists are medical doctors. So them, they mostly prescribe medication, they do diagnosis,
so they do more the clinical work. As also now, for me, I have been trained as a
counseling psychologist.
Counseling psychologist.
So then also I just counsel people, which is also different. Yeah, all of them are different.
Sawa sawa. So now we know when to use which word and where. Okay, so the workplace is a place where we spend most of our time. Because on a normal day, I'll get into the office some minutes to 8. And the time I'll be leaving, it's 4, 5. So like I spend most part of my day in the workplace.
Like
and
8 hours.
Yes, like 8 hours or even more, depending. So statistics tell us that it is estimated in Kenya, globally, that 15% of the global working population has at least one mental health condition. This implies that about 3.7 million of the 24.9 million workforce just in Kenya might be suffering from mental health. And we are saying that as much as the employer, we focus so much on output, hitting targets and all that, but we forget that very important aspect of mental health. So what would you tell the employers, the employees at in the workspace about this issue, other than just the output?
Yeah, for you to even have that output, you have to have general well-being in the first place. You can imagine also that you've come, we are working right now. Imagine you didn't take breakfast. So maybe even you wouldn't have the energy to do it. So the same way we need food, same way we need transport, the same way now we need our mental health to be okay. And sometimes you find that there are issues in the workplace that can affect my mental health, but sometimes also I could come with my problems from home. And this will also affect the output. And even as you've put it, the statistics are just a lot. Because even generally WHO says that 1 in every 4 people have a mental illness. If I look around, we are 5.
We are 5 here.
So 1 or 2 of us, or even all of us, could have a mental health issue. So it is time that we prioritize it. I like the fact that actually a lot of employers have taken that, but still there are those who, yes, they say they do. The workplace is, we are all family and all this. It's just saying, but do we really actualize the right systems to actually prioritize mental health?
Yes. So what's your overview on this matter, especially in the workplace?
Like I mentioned, we need to be very careful about it. We need to take it seriously, because also I saw that statistically we lose a lot of money every year because of the mental health issues. I saw around millions of work hours because someone reported they were sick. Some people were absent, some people quit. And that is because they had poor wellness. And then also you find they don't really have the right support system. So they don't show up to work. And so if we need for people to be more productive, I saw that when we are at our peak, then we actually perform more by 15%. So You can imagine if people now give the optimum plus 15% on top. That's a good number. And so even the companies will be able to achieve their objective. And then also with employers, us as the employees also, you know, everybody, I don't know about you, but everybody wants to be in a workplace where they're enjoying their job. Yeah, they like what they are doing, they impact people. So if even us back home and with the things that we are doing, we need to do, which we are going to talk about, of course, how to now take care of ourselves as well.
Okay. So I am a workplace mentor and transformation coach. And when I go around the workplace, sometimes I want to know what's happening to the people we work with, my colleagues, and even the people that work under me. And as you've said, sometimes people come from home with different issues. Maybe there's a wife that is going through, let's say, physical bettering at home. The husband is doing all sorts of things to her. There's this husband. Our male colleagues, they run into alcoholism and substance abuse because they're having so many things, sorry, that they cannot even open up about. And then we have these Gen Zs that are undergoing through so many pressures, and it's just a mixed up of everything at the workplace. And we end up having a workforce that is stressed, has anxiety, has all sorts of things. And therefore, there are these words that we normally say, niko na stress, I am stressed. You look at me and you say, maybe I did something in the office, I reacted in some way, and people concluded that I am probably depressed, I am probably going through something. So how do you identify? Or first of all, even before we go on, how do we identify? How do we know? How do we use these words? Stress, depression, anxiety, all those words that are related to. Yeah.
Ideally, we say that stress is a good thing.
Really?
Yes. If you weren't stressed, you wouldn't be here.
Oh, okay.
You didn't wake up. Unajua the way people say
it's
your
just that
problems
makes me wake up.
Hey, your
really?
problems will wake you up. So optimum stress is actually important for us to be able to even function. However, if you can imagine like a graph, it's like a curve. It goes all the way and then there starts to be a down low. So the point is for us to not be down here, to be at the optimum level, but then also to make sure that it's not going over. So the going over means then you're not able to cope. So yes, I can be stressed. I could have a deadline that I haven't met. But if I am able to handle that, then it is okay. Because otherwise, if I wasn't given a deadline, I'd just show up to work and just, pass the time. So that little pressure is okay. The issue, however, is when now we have a lot of things that are piling up and we don't have the place to take it to. So think about a bottle of water. You've kept filling it over and over. So it gets to a point where now it starts to overflow. So that's now the issue. So when stress hasn't been dealt with, then now it starts to transition into these other conditions. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm so sad, I'm just depressed. Are you? Because ideally depression is when you have been in extreme low sadness for a period of 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Constantly sad, constantly low for 2 weeks. Not just that today you just woke up, no, you're not in the mood and then you say you're depressed. No. It is usually when it is prolonged. And then it has other characteristics. It has think about eating and sleeping, either they go up or they go lower. There are people who stress eat, there are people who can't eat when they are stressed. Think about also the socialization aspect. Maybe I am very social, I like to go out with people, now I am isolating.
You're isolated in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, in terms of work, I am not feeling myself. I am not able to be productive. I just show up. You guys have stories who call me. I'm just isolating on my own. So those are some of the symptoms. You mentioned as well anxiety. Anxiety now is usually there's this meme watu sema you don't have anxiety, uko na wasiwasi. Wasiwasi in English is worry. And so being worried a little is okay. Like me being anxious, what I'm going to say in this interview is okay. The issue again is when it is prolonged, and I am not able to handle it. So you find maybe I start talking, my voice even goes, I am sweating, I am fidgeting. So that is how anxiety usually manifests. There's usually this sense of impending doom, that something wrong is going to happen. And so this is how you know you have it. Like I mentioned, everything when it is manageable is okay. The issue is now when it is prolonged, and then now it starts to affect your day-to-day. And now even depression, when it is not taken care of, that's when people now start getting hopeless, helpless. They feel like life is not worth living. Then now we go into suicidal ideations, thoughts. And then some people even actualize them.
So Mary Ann, we have seen the differences between stress, anxiety, depression. And now we want to go into what really causes these mental issues at the workplace. What causes stress, anxiety? What are the triggers? What causes them?
First of all, it is important for us to remember that ideally maybe someone could have these issues from home, like even before they went into their workplace. Maybe they already have a predisposition, they have always had anxiety, or they have had episodes of depression. So it's not to say entirely it is the workplace that is causing, but I like how you put it, the triggers. It could be a trigger. So ideally we have, of course, like I've said, the home environment, maybe issues with the marriage, issues to do with the children, maybe even financial issues.
I don't have money, I normally become
stressed. Yeah, because money is not everything, but it is the only thing.
Yes.
It is important. So there is that. And then now when it comes to the workplace, there are certain structures and systems that we find that could actually affect us, what people like to call toxic work environment. People call anything toxic nowadays, like it's just a word that is thrown. But there are things that actually can affect someone. So for example, the workplace cultures. Like I said, we know those HRs who tell us, oh yeah, we are all family. But are we really? Are we really family?
Wait until you do something that you know your family.
Exactly. Or even you get fired and nobody follows up. So there is that. Excuse me. So the workplace culture. The workplace culture usually speaks about how we are relating with each other. You find people ganging up, they are gossiping. You could even find someone bullying you. Even it could be an employee, another employee or a manager. So these workplace cultures, usually, of course, it is the duty of the managers and the employers to make sure that it is a safe one. A safe one in the sense of I feel like a part of now the company. I don't feel like an outsider, or I feel like I don't know what I am doing here. So that also contributes. The other things could include the structures in terms of the working hours.
Just before you go to the structure, when you say the work culture, do you think like bosses, what we say, bosses, supervisors, people in decision-making roles, do you think they contribute to mental health issues? Because we have toxic bosses.
Oh yeah.
the bosses that I used to work under a boss, when he's not in the office, everybody's relaxed. We are talking, we are laughing. But the moment he comes in, tension,
Everything scatters.
everything scatters.
Yeah.
So such bosses.
Yeah, definitely. If they are always hovering around or micromanaging, always criticizing you, not appreciating what you're doing, maybe even the way they communicate, they're always shouting or even calling names
Yes.
worse off, then definitely they would affect people. And even that's why I'm saying the workplace culture is their responsibility.
Yeah.
Because when you see some of these things that people are doing, you're supposed to be the one to call it out and change that.
Okay.
Whereas if you leave people to just be, then this culture continues and then it keeps on passing to the other people that are coming in, and that is a cause for mental health issues.
Okay. Okay, so you are going now to the second.
Yeah, the second one is the structures in terms of the work hours. So think about it. Yes, a lot of people say, oh, we work 8 to 5, but then sometimes you find there's no structure in terms of what I'm supposed to do that day.
Yes.
So anytime you come, Marianne, I need this by 12 and it is 11:45. Or maybe I am going home and then that's when you bring some other work. Sometimes you find now I have to carry work home.
And that is very wrong, because home you're supposed to go and be with your family.
Exactly.
It's family time, not again.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, we sleep for 8 hours, we work for 8 hours, so you're left with 8 hours, and these 8 hours minus commutes,
Yes.
getting ready, eating, you barely have time for your family. If you leave work at 5, get there probably 6, 7, then you have until maybe 9.
Just this week, there's a client who was calling me for advice. They were telling me that they have received a warning letter because they were not able to submit a report on time. And they were really, I don't know if to now call it depressed or stressed about it, because see, it was the final warning letter. And you know, the final warning letter, the next thing is will be terminated.
Termination,
Yeah, so they were really stressed. So I was like, if they delivered the report, however late it was, why give them a warning letter? Yeah, so you can see where now the issues come from.
Because now that brings job insecurity,
Yes.
which is also another point. There are these bosses who keep telling you they will fire you. So you're never really certain whether you're going to have work tomorrow.
Yes.
And actually, we even know there are people who get fired. Maybe I have had people who say they don't even have job contracts. So your boss can do anything if they're not tied, because we know ideally if they terminate you wrongfully, you can report them.
Yes.
So there are those who don't even have that to cover them, or even don't know where to go to anyways. So that job insecurity is something that also can cause stress, because you're constantly worried, where am I going to get the next paycheck, instead of worrying about how am I going to improve my performance.
Yeah.
And then the other part is the way I talked about criticism. Ideally, even you want to be told, good job, you know, you're doing well.
Not all the time.
Yeah,
just finding mistakes in me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't negate the fact that it is important to give positive feedback, I mean criticism,
Yeah.
because ideally we're not perfect. But then it can't be all the time. And then also when I do well, you're not telling me.
Yes.
So this usually brings people's morals down and even their self-esteem. I get clients who, every time you constantly put someone down, they will actually go down. Yeah, so we need to be very careful about that.
And then I also saw another thing that really affects workers, the employees, and this is witch hunting in the workplace. Maybe
explain to them.
Maybe I am doing so well in my career. I'm hitting my targets. I'm doing everything well. And then, you know, we have a mixture of people at the workplace. They're just people who come. In my last, there's a conversation you were saying. There are people who actually looked for work, and then there are people who were just given work. So it depends where you are in the workplace. So I am here really trying to get the best out of the workplace. And then people start being agitated, and then they start gossiping me, they start accusing me, and by that I've ever been in that situation where I am really working hard. Kumbe chini ya uko on the sides, my colleagues are actually going to my supervisor and telling them ABCD about me. So I'm really working hard. Kumbe my record huku inachafuliwa. And the time when I got to hear what was being said about me at the levels I can go, and what I was really discouraged. And I remember I didn't even have the urge to wake up to go to work, because I'm like, I'm really working hard only to receive
poor feedback. Especially these people will be laughing with you.
Yes.
Yeah,
we are even taking tea with them. We are doing everything, stories, nini, but behind the scenes,
and obviously it comes from a point of insecurity.
Yes.
Because even if you're doing well, we can do well, all of us, but some people usually have that notion, and even some managers, so to speak, because you find they feel like the way you're doing well, you're going to get their job. But you see, one of the, like you've mentioned, you are a coach, a workplace mentor. One of the joys is actually to impact other people, to raise as well. And then they can go to other places or whatever.
My spiritual authority is always telling us that you should not just be the one shining. You should be having proteges, people you are mentoring to take after you. Supposing you are not there, will work stop?
No.
So you have to be mentoring people all the time.
And even, I don't remember, one of these billionaires was saying they always hire someone who is better than them in something. Like,
challenge them.
Because why am I hiring you if it's something that I can also do? The same way with micromanagers. If you're micromanaging someone because you feel like they can't do work the way you want them to, why did you hire them in the first place? So you could just have done all that work by yourself. So that is something that really affects. And maybe the last point would be about communication and the way we resolve conflict. Because as I always say, conflict is a normal part of every human relation. Even as we can have conflict with each other, the point is we do have that because we have differences. And the point is usually for you to help me understand your point of view and the opposite. But then there are people who will talk over you, they will criticize
they become personal.
you. They criticize even your character. Wewe ulizaliwa wapi, umetoka wapi. They make you feel like you are less of than them. So even the way we communicate, it really matters. You have seen those, I love memes and TikToks and Reels. And usually there is those ones where people send very passive-aggressive emails as per what?
I hope this email finds you well.
So even that passive aggression, just the way we communicate our work, the way we communicate what someone is supposed to do, the way you communicate when someone makes a mistake really plays a role. And at the end of the day, we are all adults in the workplace. So be very careful about how you're speaking to people. Don't be aggressive, and also don't be passive.
My son was telling me last night, Mom, you don't have to shout.
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you. And I'm like, really?
Gen Alphas and Gen Zs are going to really change things.
Now that we've seen the causes, the triggers, now I'd like to go into interventions.